Hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to my channel. I'm FCA, and I hope that you are enjoying Mystery March. If you don't know what that is, you should subscribe and join us to find out, which is every video in the month of March is mystery themed. I'm so excited. I love a good fictional mystery where no one actually gets hurt. And today's video is a tier list of my favorite mystery trope episodes. I already did a tier list, which I will link in the cards in the description below, of my favorite mystery series. But for this tier list, we are talking about an episode that happens in a series that is not normally detective mystery related. This is just a one-off that happens every couple seasons or so. And so to get on my absolutely non-exhaustive, completely opinion list, which we can politely and civilly disagree with opinions in the comments below if you have a recommendation yourself, or if you disagree with the way I ordered things, that's perfectly fine, but we can be polite about it. I know that's new to the internet world, but I believe in us. I also believe in my ability to stop. So to get on this list, we have our token mystery episode, which of course is just that. It has to have a mystery basis to it. Typically in the mystery trope episodes, one of the characters is a victim of either something being stolen, broken, or of course our favorite high stakes, murder. And it is up to the other characters, either through a group or individual who claims to be the detective of the group, to suss out all the other characters who are suspects. Frequently, but not always, this usually involves the character's retelling of something that happened. I do have an honorary mention, and these are from all different time periods, so I hope that you enjoy. And all of the pictures and stuff that I'm going to be using, I simply just put in a Google search and chose a picture. So here's my top 8, because 8 is my favorite number, starting with our bottom pick, which is number 8, being something. Sorry, thought I was going to sneeze, and it turns out my nose lied to me. Number 8 is The Simpsons Who Killed Mr. Burns, Season 7, Episode 1. Now, this is actually a two-parter, but the season finale of Season 6 is Mr. Burns getting shot and, seeing him ending up at the hospital. And then finding out who the culprit is the premise of Season 7's pilot episode. This is at the bottom of the list because, one, it is a two-parter, and so you would at least have to have watched that previous episode to know exactly what's going on. And we all also know, but it is on the list at all because with somebody as dastardly as Mr. Burns, there's no shortage of culprits, possible suspects, and no one is going to solve it on the Springfield police force. But it does have a decent twist ending. It is funny and humorous. You'll find that to be a common theme, that most of these are from sitcoms or animated shows that are meant to cause laughter and humor, because again, I'm not really a fan of real crime and people being harmed. Digress with number 7 on our list, which is Wine Weekend, Season 9, Episode 16. I almost said 13, from Modern Family. Now, in this episode, I'm going to try not to do spoilers. I don't know if I said that before, but I'm going to avoid spoilers and just give plot summaries. But Haley invites her family to her fancy, wealthy boss's vacation home in wine country for a wine tasting weekend, but someone breaks her boss's prized display item, a fancy tiara, and Haley then demands the stories of everyone's whereabouts to try to figure out who's going to pay to repair this crown. Modern Family is modernly funny, and it has little quirks and turns where every family member has the weirdest excuse. Some of them I don't know why they feel the need to lie, but they do try to lie their way through the evening, and we get again a really nice twist ending. It is towards the bottom of the list though, because even though the twist ending is good, it also kind of flatlines with a what I consider poor joke. No one's perfect. Hard to explain these things without spoiling. I'm doing my best though. Number 6, we have American Dads, Season 13, Episode 8. I have notes over here so I keep track of all the episodes. But it is called Death by Dinner Party. Francine has been planning a dinner party for months, and not even an uncaught serial killer is going to stop it from happening. Until, of course, the serial killer turns out to be someone at the dinner party. Roger is desperately trying to find out who the criminal is, as everyone else is getting not so slowly picked off. This has not the best twist ending of all of them. It's still a decent twist, but I liked it because I found it to just be overall more amusing of all the things. Now, I will say that if you are not familiar with the series, then knowing who all the characters are and their relations to each other does cause a teeny bit of a, like, you might be a little more lost. You're just like, okay, so we just know people here and we're okay with that. Still, overall, a very good episode. We're in the top 5. Number 5 on my list of Trope mystery episodes is the Mad Pooper from Bob's Burgers, Season 3, Episode 12. Tina finally gets a spot on the Wagstaff news station, but she finds their news stories to be lackluster, especially when there seems to be someone with a bad case of diarrhea destroying people and their property, raging around the school. So Tina decides to take on and be her own investigative journalist to find out who the Mad Pooper is. Not to mention she ends up having to try to clear her own name when she gets accused of making up the story to have a story to tell. This twist is really good, just based on how the series progresses. It's quite enjoyable, and it is lighthearted, and as in every Bob's Burgers episode, there's usually 2 simultaneous plot lines going on. So while Tina's trying to find a Mad Pooper, Gene and Louise turn Gene into Bob because he thinks he's doomed anyway, so he starts acting like a middle-aged old man, much to Bob's dismay. I had such a hard time choosing between number 4, 3, and 2, but this is what I have settled on. Number 4 is from a television series from about 2015 to 2019 or so, but it is Reba. Yeah, as in Reba McEntire, famous country singer and actress. She had her own sitcom, being a single mom who works too hard with all of her children's shenanigans. For those of you unfamiliar with the series, Reba's ex-husband has left her for his dental assistant, him being a dentist who is significantly younger than him, but she ends up being really good friends with the new wife after several seasons of calamity. But the new wife, Barbara Jean, she gets a new dog that no one else in the family can stand. It's a little terrier named Brock. Yeah, named after her husband, Brock. And then when Barbara Jean leaves Brock, with the family to babysit while she's out doing something happens to Brock. And she gets news from a psychic that someone in the family is to blame for Brock's disappearance. So once again, this is one where we get the different family members retelling where they were and what they were doing. There's a couple twists. It's quite funny. And we do end up finding Dog Brock at the end of the series and finding out what happened to him and how/why he disappeared. Yay. Which is also funny in and of itself. Number 3 on the list, top 3 highly recommend episodes that we have. Now, this next series that I'm going to recommend in the Mystery Trope episode is in black and white. Don't knock it till you try it. I Love Lucy is an iconic classic sitcom starring Lucille Ball. And she is a female comedy legend, also a redhead legend. And in this very hilarious episode, the usually two best friends, Lucy and Ethel, find clues that lead them to believe that each other is the female crook that's been terrorizing the neighborhood. They then each go on their own independent sleuth missions to try to prove that the other one is the named Madam X. The episode is called Too Many Crooks, and it is season 3, episode 9. What makes this particularly funny is that at first, both of the husbands go, really, you think that no, you're crazy. But then through happenstance, they get lured into sleuthing with their wives. And yeah, it's really funny. And we do end up with a very great conclusion, which thankfully proves that neither one of the two best friends are the crook, and they are very thankful to learn this information. Number 2, give it up for Family Guy. And this is season 9, episode 1. And a bunch of the Quahog denizens have been invited to a dinner party, each being lured by an invitation claiming that the party is in their honor. With the group of them there, they start to, of course, get picked off, and they as a group try to figure out which one of them is the murderer. Not only is this now this is a longer episode. It's almost a movie length. It's about 43 to 45 minutes, depending on what thing you're watching it on. But it's a really great twist ending. It's very satisfying. It has a very satisfying ending. I will say that one of the drawbacks to this one is that it's one of those ones where if you're not super familiar with the series, some of the jokes you're not going to quite get. But overall, I think it's a really funny, entertaining, and truly suspenseful episode. Being a Family Guy animated thing, it's still able to really draw you in and keep the suspense and comedy at balanced levels. Very applause around. Number one is season 8, episode 2 of Bob's Burgers. That's right, Bob's Burgers is on the list twice. It's my list, I'll do what I want. And it is the episode titled Silence of the Louise. Very much an homage to Silence of the Lambs. This episode follows Louise. Every Bob's Burgers episode where Louise tends to be the main character, for me, is just chef's kiss. Wonderfulness. And if you don't like Bob's Burgers, I don't know if we can be friends. Maybe mutual associates, but anywho, I digress. That in the episode, the students of Wagstaff have read enough books to earn themselves a trip to a famous, prolific water park. And Louise does not read for nothing. So when Mr. Franz's therapy dolls end up destroyed and he declares the trip canceled until the culprit is found, Louise dives headfirst into detective work. Seemingly left with no other choice, she is forced to partner up with her usual rival, the creepy Millie, and the two of them go about trying to solve the crime. And this one just marks all the boxes for me. It's entertaining, the ending has a twist, it's very satisfying, and it has all of that mystery tension with Bob's Burger humor thrown in, which I absolutely adore. And I also very much like this episode because how it is set up, you don't need to have watched any other Bob's Burgers episodes to really, and this tends to be the case with a lot of Bob's Burgers episodes, that you don't really need to know much about any of the other episodes before you watch this one to get the humor. All of the jokes are set up in episode, and yeah, I love it. I love it. That's why it's number 1, because it's the best. We're also going to go into an honorable mention that didn't make the list that I also very much enjoy, and it is from an older sitcom series called Mama's Family. And in this, the titular character, Mama, ends up in the hospital after getting hit in the head with a pot by someone. The only family member who wasn't present at the time was her son Vincent, who then tries to use the whole going back through different people's versions of flashbacks to try to figure out what happened. The reason this one, while it is very funny and very amusing, the reason why it didn't get on the list is because the ending isn't particularly satisfying. And you do have to have familiarity with if you didn't know a lot of the characters from other episodes, you couldn't just pop in and watch it. It is funny. I do find it amusing. But again, because of mostly the necessity of seeing the rest of the lore and the ending being a twist, but it's just not a very satisfying twist. It's not it was all a dream, but it's still not as satisfying as it could have been, although I do see the humor in it. It doesn't give me that mystery episode satisfaction. I hope that you all enjoyed my little tier list here. Tell me what mystery trope episodes you would recommend. Let me know if any of the ones that were on my top 8 are also ones that you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video for Mystery March. So keep on sleuthing. Make sure you subscribe to get our sleuth on, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.